Paragraph page 333. And
Mhm.
our last headword was fix, full stage revision. Okay, so
Okay.
let's start from where we ended. Okay, let me just check. If your computer, okay, here we go. First question. If your computer was faulty, would you know how to fix the fault? If your computer was faulty, would you know how to fix the fault? Yes or no?
No, if
I
my computer was
faulty. Faulty.
faulty,
I wouldn't
I
know
wouldn't know
how to
how to fix the faulty.
ver- how to fix the fault.
Fault, fault.
Very good. Are your dictations usually faultless? Are your dictations usually faultless? No, my
No, my
dictations aren't
dictation and
usually
usually
faultless.
faultless.
They usually
They
contain
usually contains
mistakes.
mistakes.
Very good. If a student makes a mistake in his dictation, is it usually his fault or the teacher's fault? If a student makes a mistake in his dictation, is it usually his fault or the teacher's fault? If a
If
student
a
makes
student
a
makes
mistake
makes a mistakes
in
in his
his dictation,
dictation,
it's
it's
usually his
usually
fault,
his fault,
but it could
but it
sometimes
could
be
sometimes be
the
teacher's
teacher's fault.
fault.
Very good. What can we say instead of okay? What can we say instead of okay? Instead of
Instead of
okay, we can
okay, we can
say
say
all
all
right.
right.
Very good. Can we compare Michelangelo with Napoleon? Can we compare Michelangelo with Napoleon? No, we
No, we
can't.
can't compare
Michelangelo
Michelangelo
with
with Napoleon
why not? Why not? Because they
because
were
they
two
are two
completely
completely
different kinds of
different
people
kind of
who
people
did different
who do
things
different things
from each
from
other.
each other.
Very good. What must two people or things have if we want to make a comparison between them? What must two people or things have if we want to make a comparison between them? If we
If
want
we
to
want
make
to make
a comparison
a comparison
between two
between two
people or
people or
things,
things,
they must have something in
they
common.
must have something in common.
Very good. What do we use ice for? What do we use ice for? We use
We
ice
use
for
ice
pouring
for
in drinks
putting in
to
drinks
cool them,
to cool them,
etc.
etc.
Very good. What am I doing? What am I doing? You're pouring
You are
some
pouring
water
some water
from a
from
bottle
bottle
into a.
into a glass.
Very good. Do you think that all the countries of the world will unite one day? Do you think that all the countries of the world will unite one day? Yes or no?
No, I don't think all
All
the
the
countries
countries of
of
the
the
world
world
will
will
unite
unite
one
one day.
day. Very good. Give me a sentence with the word even in it. Give me a sentence with the word even in it, please. She speaks
He
Russian,
speaks
Russian,
Russian,
German,
German,
French, and
French,
even Chinese.
and even
He
Chinese.
was very
He was
impolite.
very
He didn't
impolite.
even
He
say
didn't
hello.
even say hello.
It's very simple.
It's very simple.
Even a child could
Even a
understand
child
it.
could understand it.
Very good. Do we generally make sugar with potatoes? Do we generally make sugar with potatoes? No, we
No,
don't
we don't
generally
generally
mix
mix sugar
sugar
with
with
potatoes.
potatoes. Do you think a mixture of tea and coffee would make a pleasant drink? Do you think a mixture of tea and coffee would make a pleasant drink? No, I
No,
don't
I
think
don't
a
think
mixture
a
of tea
mixture
and
of tea
coffee
and
would
coffee would
make
make
a pleasant
a
drink.
pleasant drink.
It would
It
make
would make
an unpleasant
unpleasant drink.
drink. If you mix some red and white paint together, what would you get? If you mix some red and white paint together, what would you get? If I
If
mix
I
some
mix
red
some
and
red
white
and
paint
white paint, I'd
together,
get
together,
together,
I'd get
I'd
pink
get
paint.
pink paint.
Very good. One more. If I mix some
If I
red
mix
and white
some
paint
red and
together,
white paint
I'd
together,
get pink paint.
I get pink paint.
Very good. Who cared for you when you were a child? Who cared for you when you were a child? My mother
My
cared for
mother
me
cared for me
when
when
I
I
was
was
a child. Very good. Okay, next. Do you think the young should take care of the old? Do you think the young should take care of the old? Yes, I
yes,
think the
I
young
think
should
the
take
young
care
should take
of the
care
old.
of the old.
Do you take good care of your health? Do you take good care of your health? Yes or no?
Yes,
I
I
take
take
good
good
care of
care
my health.
of my
Do
health.
you care what people think or say about you? Do you care what people think or say about you? Yes or no?
Yes, I
I care
care
what
what people
people
think
or
and say
say
about
about
me.
me. Very good. Okay. If you are late for a very important appointment, would you take your time? If you are late for a very important appointment, would you take your time? No. If
No,
I were
if I
late
were late
for a
for
very
very
important
important
appointment,
appointment,
I wouldn't take
I
my
wouldn't
time.
take my
I'd
time
hurry.
and hurry
Why? Why? Because it's
because it's
important to
important
keep
to keep the
appointments,
important
to keep appointments
to keep
that
appointment
we've made.
that we made.
Very good. Why is it sometimes a bad thing to hurry? Why is it sometimes a bad thing to hurry? It's sometimes
It's
a bad
sometimes
thing to
a
hurry
bad things to hurry
because we
because
often make
we
mistakes.
are often mistakes.
One more. It's sometimes a
It's
bad thing
sometimes
to
a
hurry
bad thing to hurry
because we often
because
make
we often
mistakes
make
when we
mistakes
hurry.
when we are hurry.
Ragged, would you take your time going home if somebody told you your house was on fire? Would you take your time going home if somebody told you your house was on fire? No, I
No,
wouldn't
I
take my
wouldn't take
time
my time
going
going
home if
home.
somebody
If
told me
somebody told
my
me
house was on
my house
fire.
was on
I'd
fire,
hurry.
I'd hurry.
What's the translation of I am in a hurry in Japanese? What's the translation of I am in a hurry in Japanese? The translation
The
of I
translation
am in a
I
hurry
in
in
hurry
Japanese is
in Japanese is 私は急いでいる in Japanese.
very good. What do the words plenty of mean? What do the words plenty of mean? The words plenty of
The word
means
plenty of
more
meaning
than enough.
more than enough.
Very good. Do people hurry when they have plenty of time? Do people hurry when they have plenty of time? No.
No,
People don't
people don't
hurry
hurry
when they have plenty
when
of
they have
time.
plenty of time.
They take their time.
They take their time.
What's the opposite of plenty of water? What's the opposite of plenty of water? The
The
opposite of
opposite of
plenty of
plenty
water
of
is
water
little
is
water
little
or
water
not enough
or
water.
not enough water.
Very good. Okay, next. What's the difference between for and since? What's the difference between for and since? The difference
The
between
difference
for
between
and
for and
since
since
is that
is
we
that
use the
we
word
use the
for
word for
when we
when
say
we
a
say
period of time,
period of time,
whereas we
when
use
we
the
use
word
the
since
word
when we
since
say the
when
point
we say the
at
point
which the period
at
began.
the period began.
We could give me some examples of for. Give me some examples of for, please. For half an hour.
For half an hour,
For 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Now give me some examples of since. Give me some examples of since, please. Since 6 o'clock.
It's 6 o'clock.
Since last June.
Since last June.
Very good. How long have you lived in that? How long have you been in that room for? How long have you been in that room for? I've been
I've
in this
been
room
in
for.
this room for 5 minutes.
Very good. Since when have you been in that room? Since when have you been in that room? I've been in this room
I've been in this room
since
since 5
p.m.
p.m.
Very good. How long have you lived in your town for? How long have you lived in your town for? I've lived
I've
in
lived
my
in
town
my town
for.
for 3 years.
Very good. Since when have you lived in your town? Since when have you lived in your town? I've lived
I
in
lived
this town
in this town
since.
since 2021.
Very good. About how long have you known me for? About how long have you known me for? I've known you
I've
for
known you
about.
for about 4 months.
Very good. Since when have you known me? Since when have you known me? I've known you
I've known you
since.
since last September.
Very good. Have you been able to speak English for more than 10 years? Have you been able to speak English for more than 10 years? Yes or no?
No,
I
I
haven't been
haven't
able
been able to speak
for
English
more
for
than.
more than 10 years ago.
Very good. Oh, no more ago. For more than 10 years.
For more than 10 years.
Very good. Have you been able to speak English since you were a young child? Have you been able to speak English since you were a young child? Yes or no?
No, I haven't been able to speak English
Since I
since
was
I
a
was a
young.
child, young
Very,
child.
very good. What kind of things does a kitchen usually contain? What kind of things does a kitchen usually contain? A kitchen
A kitchen
usually
usually
contains a
contains
fridge,
a
a
fridge,
freezer, a
a
cooker,
freezer,
a
a
sink,
container, a
etc.
sink, etc.
Does meat last longer in a fridge or a freezer? Does meat last longer in a fridge or a freezer? Meat lasts
Meat
longer
lasts longer
in a.
than in a freezer.
Very good. Why do some people like using microwaves? Why do some people like using microwaves? Some people
Some
like
people like
using
using
microwave
microwave
because they
because
cook food
they cook
very
food
quickly.
quickly.
Very good. Did you find English pronunciation a little difficult at the beginning of your studies? Did you find English pronunciation a little difficult at the beginning of your studies? Yes, I
Yes,
found
I found
English
English
pronunciation
pronunciation
a
a
little
little
difficult
difficult
at the
at the
beginning of
beginning of
my.
my study.
Do you hope your English studies will help your future career? Do you hope your English studies will help your future career? Yes, I
Yes,
hope
I
my
hope
English
my
studies
English
will help
studies
my
will help
future
my
career.
future career.
Very good. Would you lend me some money if I ask you? Would you lend me some money if I ask you? No, I
No,
wouldn't
I
lend you
couldn't lend
any
you
money
money
if
if
you,
you asked me.
well, if you lent something to somebody and they didn't return it, what did you do? If you lent something to somebody and they didn't return it, what did you do? If I lent
If I
something
lend
to
something to
somebody
somebody
and they didn't
and
return
they
it,
didn't return
I'd
it,
ask them to
I'd
return it.
I'd
I'd ask
say to
I'd
return it.
I'd ask them
I asked them
like
to return them.
I would
I
ask
would ask them.
in a contraction. I'd ask them
I'd ask them
to return it.
to return it.
Very good. What's your first name? What's your first name? My first name's
My first
Hiro.
name's Hiro.
What's your surname? What's your surname? My
My
surname's
surname's Oshima.
very good. Would you like to be a famous? Would you like to be famous? Yes or no?
Yes,
I'd
I
like.
would like to be famous.
What's a film star? What's a film star? A film star
A film
is a
star is
famous
a
actor
famous actor
or
or
in
actress
the
in the
cinema.
cinema world.
Very good. Tell me the names of some famous film stars. Tell me the names of some famous film stars, please. The names of some
The names
famous
of
film
some
stars
famous film
are
stars are Johnny Depp, Brad Pitt, George Clooney, etc.
George Clooney, like George Clooney. Okay. Name a
Uh,
famous people in history. Name a famous people in history, please. A few famous
Few
people
famous
in history
people in history
are
are
Shakespeare, Einstein,
Shakespeare,
Napoleon,
Einstein, Napoleon,
etc.
etc.
Very good. What's the most industrial city in your country? What's the most industrial city in your country?
Tokyo is the most industrial city in my country.
What's the most agricultural region of your country? What's the most agricultural region of your country?
Hokkaido is the most agricultural region
Of
of
my
my country.
country. Very good. What do we say when we apologize for doing something wrong? What do we say when we apologize for doing something wrong? When we apologize
We
for doing
apologize
something
for
wrong,
doing something
we
wrong.
say, I'm
We
sorry.
say, I'm sorry.
If you keep somebody waiting for a long time, should you apologize? If you keep somebody waiting for a long time, should you apologize? Yes.
Yes, if you somebody,
If you keep somebody
if you keep somebody
waiting for a long
waiting
time,
for a long
you
time,
should
you should
apologize.
apologize.
What's the noun of the verb apologize? What's the noun of the verb apologize? The noun
The
of the
noun
verb
of the verb
apologize is
apologize is
apology.
apology.
Very good. How can we help to avoid becoming ill? How can we help to avoid becoming ill? We can help
We
to
can help
avoid
to avoid
becoming ill
becoming ill
by
by
living a healthy
living a
life.
healthy life.
Very good. Do you have to bend down if you want to touch your feet? Do you have to bend down if you want to touch your feet? No, I
No,
don't have
I
to
don't have to bend down if
if
I
I want
want
to touch
to
my feet,
touch my
but
feet.
it would be
It
the
would be
easiest way.
the easiest way.
Very good. Which do you think was the best century in history to live in? Which do you think was the best century in history to live in? I think
I
the
think that time now is the
okay. I
best.
think the
I
current
think
century
the current century
was
the
is the best
was the
century
is the
is the
best
best
century
in
in
history to
history
live in.
to live in.
Very good. Do you like the fashion in clothes at the moment? Do you like the fashion in clothes at the moment? Yes or no?
No,
I
I don't like
the
the
fashion in clothes
fashion in clothes
at
at
the
the
moment.
moment.
Very good. Does this school have a gate outside it? Does this school have a gate outside it? Yes or no?
No, this school doesn't have
A gate
a gate
outside it.
outside it.
Very good. Do some people worry too much? Do some people worry too much? Yes,
Yes,
some
some
people.
people worry too much.
Are you worried about your future? Are you worried about your future? Yes or no?
No,
I'm
I'm
not
not
worried
about worried
about
about
my future.
my future.
One more. No, I'm not
No,
worried
I'm not
about
worried
my
about my
future.
future.
Wicked, why should you not worry if you don't immediately understand some of the grammar in this book? Why should you not worry if you don't immediately understand some of the grammar in this book? I shouldn't worry
I
if
shouldn't
I
worry
don't
if I
immediately
don't immediately
understand some
understand
of the
some of
grammar
the
in
grammar
this
in
book
this book
because I will
because
practice it
I will
again.
practicing
Yeah. I
again.
will practice it
I will,
again.
I will practicing it again.
Not practicing. I will practice it again.
I will practice it again
In other lessons,
in other
and I
lessons,
can study it
and I
at
can
home.
study it at home.
Very good. One more. I shouldn't worry
I
if
shouldn't
I
worry
don't
if I
immediately
don't
understand
immediately
some
understand
of the grammar
some
in
of
this
the
book
grammar
because
in this book
I will
because
practice
I
it
will
again
practice it
in
again
other lessons
in other
and I
lessons
can study it
and
at
I
home.
can study it at home.
Very good. When we're in a hurry, what must we do? When we're in a hurry, what must we do? When we're
When
in
we
a
are in
hurry,
hurry,
we must
we must
run.
run.
Very good. What's the furthest you've ever run? What's the furthest you've ever run? The
The
furthest I've
farthest
ever
I've
run
ever
is
run is 10 kilometers.
very good. When do we use the present continuous? When do we use the present continuous? We use
We
the
use
present
the present
continuous for
continuous
an
for
action
an
that
action
is in
that in
progress now.
progress now.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I am speaking
I
English
am
now.
speaking English now.
When do we use the past continuous? When do we use the past continuous? We use
We
the
use
past
the past continuous
for an
for an
action
action
that
that was
in
in progress
progress at a particular
at
time
a
in
particular
the
time
past.
in the past.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. I was speaking English
I was speaking
at this
English
time yesterday.
this time yesterday.
Regard, were you chatting to anybody when I came into the room at the beginning of the lesson? Were you chatting to anybody when I came into the room at the beginning of the lesson? Yes or no?
Yes, I was chatting to somebody
When
who
when
you
you came
when you came
into the
to
room
into the
at the
room
beginning of the
at the
lesson.
beginning of the lesson.
Very good. Okay. Were the students standing or sitting when I left the classroom at the end of the last lesson? Were the students standing or sitting when I left the classroom at the end of the last lesson? The students
The
were
students were sitting
when you left the
when
classroom
you left the
at the
classroom
end of the
end
last
of
lesson.
the lesson.
Very good. Was it raining while you were coming to school today? Was it raining while you were coming to school today? Yes or no?
No, it wasn't raining when
While I was coming
I was coming
to
to
school
school
today.
today.
What were you doing at this time last Sunday? What were you doing at this time last Sunday? I was
I was drinking beer
at this
at
time
this
last
time
Sunday.
last Sunday.
Very good. Do you think most people in your town were sleeping at midnight last night? Do you think most people in your town were sleeping at midnight last night? Yes, I
Yes,
think
I think
most
most
people
people
in my
in my
town
town
were
were
sleeping at
sleeping at
midnight last
midnight
night.
last night.
Where were you living 10 years ago? Where were you living 10 years ago? I was
I
living
was living in Osaka
10
10 years
years
ago.
ago. Very good. About how much does a doctor earn a year in your country? About how much does a doctor earn a year in your country? A doctor
A
earns
doctor earned
about
about 1 million yen
a year
a year
in my
in my
country.
country.
Very good. Maybe more. Okay, next.
Hmm.
Would it be okay for a man to wear jeans and trainers if he was going to a formal dinner? Would it be okay for a man to wear jeans and trainers if he was going to a formal dinner? No,
No,
it wouldn't
it
be
wouldn't be
okay for
okay
a
for
man
a
to
man
wear
to wear
jeans and
jeans
trainers
or trainers
if he was going
if he was
to a
going
formal
to
dinner.
formal dinner.
He should wear a suit
He
and
should wear
tie.
a suit and tie.
Megan, when we meet somebody for the first time, what can we say? When we meet somebody for the first time, what can we say? When we
When
meet
we meet the
somebody,
somebody
one
for
more.
the first time,
When we meet
when
somebody
we meet
for the
somebody
first
for the
time,
first
we
time,
can say,
we
nice
can
to
say
meet you.
nice to meet you.
And what do we say if we want to be more formal? And what do we say when we want to be more formal? If we
If
want
we want to be more
more formal,
formal,
we say,
you
how do you
say,
do?
how do
How do
you
you
do?
do?
How
Very
do you
good.
do?
And what does the other person reply? And what does the other person reply? The other person,
The other person replies,
how
how do
do
you
you do?
do?
Very good. Is it easy to persuade people to give their money away? Is it easy to persuade people to give their money away? No,
No,
it
it
isn't
isn't easy
to
to
persuade
persuade
people to give
people
their
to give
money
their
away.
money away.
It's difficult.
It's difficult.
How often do you go to the hairdressers? How often do you go to the hairdressers? I go
I
to
go
the hairdressers
to hairdressers
about
uh, uh, once about once every 3 months.
once every 3 months. Very good. Okay. Right. Oh, one moment. There's like a blockage on my screen.
Okay.
Oh, one moment. Once every 3 months. Okay, there you go. Why do you think some films are so popular? Why do you think some films are so popular? I think some
I
films
think some
are so
films are
popular
so popular
because they
because
tell
they
interesting
tell
or
interesting or
exciting
exciting
stories.
stories.
Very good. Is it grammatically correct to say I've seen her yesterday? Is it grammatically correct to say I've seen her yesterday? No, it
No,
isn't
it isn't
grammatically correct
grammatically correct
to say
to
I've
say
seen her yesterday.
I've seen her
We should
yesterday.
say
You
I
should
saw her
say I
yesterday
saw
instead.
her yesterday
Instead.
instead.
Very good. What does a bathroom usually contain? What does a bathroom usually contain? A bathroom
A
usually
bathroom
contains
usually
a bath
contains
or a
a
shower,
bath for
a toilet,
showers,
and a
a
basin.
toilet, and a basin.
Which do you prefer, baths or showers? Which do you prefer, baths or showers? I prefer
I prefer
to
showers
bath.
to baths.
What's a rain shower? What's a rain shower? A rain shower
A rain
is a
shower
short
is a
period
short
of rain.
period of rain.
Very good. What does a mirror do? What does a mirror do? A mirror
A
reflects
mirror
light.
reflects the light.
In which room in a house do we usually find a mirror? In which room in a house do we usually find a mirror? We usually
We,
find a
we
mirror
usually find a mirror
in a
in
bathroom
bedroom or
or a
bathroom
bedroom or a bedroom.
or a bedroom.
Very good. Okay, next. What does the active voice communicate? What does the active voice communicate? The active
The
voice
active voice
communicates
communicates
that the subject
subject,
does
the
the action.
subject
Does
does the
the
action.
action. Very good. One more. The active voice
The active
communicates
voice
that the
communicates
subject
that the subject
does the action.
does the action.
Very good. What does the passive voice communicate? What does the passive voice communicate? The passive voice
The passive
communicates
voice communicates
that the verb,
to that
I'm sorry, one more. The passive voice
the
communicates
passive voice
that the
communicates
subject receives the
that
action.
subject receives the action.
How do we form a passive voice? How do we form the passive voice? We form the passive
We form
voice
the passive voice
with the verb to be
with the verb to
and a
be
past participle.
in the past participle.
Very good. One more. We form the
We
passive
form
voice
the
with
passive
the verb
voice
to be
with the verb to
and a
be
past participle.
and the past participle.
Well, give me some example. Give me some examples, please. My car was
My
washed
car
last month.
is washed last
Was
month.
washed last month.
Was washed last month.
Many computers
Many
are made in
computers
China.
are made in
The
China.
students
The
will be taught
student
by the
will be
teacher.
taught by the teacher.
Very good. Okay, now I'm going to give you a sentence in the active voice and you put it in the passive voice, okay? Number one.
Okay.
John eats the pasta. John eats the pasta. The pasta
The
is
pasta
eaten by
is
John.
eaten by John.
John ate the pasta. John ate the pasta. The pasta
The
was
pasta
eaten
was
by John.
eaten by John.
John has eaten the pasta. John has eaten the pasta. The pasta has
The
been
pasta
eaten
has been eaten by
by
John.
John. Very good. John has eaten the pasta. Oh, right. Next one. John will eat the pasta. John will eat the pasta. The pasta
The
will
pasta
be
will
eaten.
be eaten by John.
John is eating the pasta. John is eating the pasta. The pasta is
The
being
pasta
eaten
is being eaten
by
by
John.
John.
John was eating the pasta. John was eating the pasta. The pasta
The
was
pasta
being
was
eaten
being eaten
by John.
by John.
John would eat the pasta. John would eat the pasta. The pasta
The
would be
pasta
eaten
could be eaten
by
by
John.
John.
Very good. Now let's practice with different sentences. Okay, here we go. I clean my car every Saturday. I clean my car every Saturday. My car is
My car
cleaned by
is
me
cleaned by
every
me
Saturday.
every Saturday.
She forgot him. He forgot him. He was forgotten
He was
by her.
forgotten by her.
My boss is going to write that email. My boss is going to write that email. That email
The
is
email
going to be
is,
written
is going to be
by
written
my
by my
boss.
boss.
Very good. We are fixing the car. We are fixing the car. The car is
The
being
car
fixed
is being fixed
by us.
by
They
us.
have followed all the advice. They have followed all the advice. All the
The,
advice
all the
has been
advice
followed by them.
has been followed by them.
Where do I force you to give long answers during the lessons? But you will answer that
Okay.
next lesson. Okay, very good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.